Okay, we're joined by Sam Morton, who's just walking back in the late October sunshine there at the Amex Stadium. 2-2 draw for Brighton. They seem to play okay, Sam. It's just sort of just a few bits of sloppiness and a little bit of lax play in the middle there. Just cost them a bit, really.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You summed it up nicely there. Really, it was all Brighton for most of the first half. First 40 minutes, Brighton were the better team by a long way. Liverpool were really struggling, especially in the midfield. It looked like they were really lacking an out-and-out defensive midfielder to protect the defence. I think McAllister was the deepest midfielder, and he obviously, as we know from his time at Brighton, he definitely isn't a defensive midfielder by trade. And I think
best position, is it?
No, they really struggled, I think, to be able to deal with Brighton's attacking players. And I think it was, as the game went on, you kind of expect them to get that second goal. I think the first goal was obviously really well finished by Adingra. He took advantage of a bit of a mistake at the back, and you thought they'd go and get that second and third goal to try and kill the game off. And it just proves how quickly football can change, really. I think Salah obviously got the equalising goal with a confident finish. And then the penalty came just a couple of minutes after that. And it was a really bizarre few minutes because it was completely against the run of play. And suddenly Brighton had gone from being the better team in the ascendancy, and suddenly they were losing at half time.
Yeah, a couple of misplaced passes, wasn't it? Lewis Dunk misplaced pass for the first goal. And then Bruggen, I'm not quite sure what he was trying to do with that ball. It was definitely a ball that Pascal Gross didn't really want to receive in that position. No. And at 1-1, a little bit of pressure, he should have taken a different option there, I would have thought.
Yeah, it was a bizarre choice of pass, really, in a similar kind of way to Van Dijk playing the wrong pass to McAllister for the first goal. It just seemed to be completely the wrong option. It really was costly for Brighton, and it obviously resulted in the penalty. So really frustrating few minutes, and it's kind of a continuation really of problems that Brighton have been having defensively this season, and it's something they need to improve on. Definitely, I think if they get more tight at the back, it can make such a big difference to the way games go, really.
Yeah, certainly to their league position as well, I would have thought. He put Carlos Baleba in. It was his first Premier League start in as a sort of bit of added protection for the back four. How did he do, Sam?
Really well. Really impressed by Baleba today. I think it was really good to see him start a Premier League game for the first time. And I think he slotted really well into the midfield. And as I say, really, Brighton did dominate for large parts of the game, and he really contributed to that and really had a good impact on things. So yeah, it was a really good performance from him. Definitely much improved from his previous appearances, and a real sign of things to come. And I think you can really tell that fans are taking to him already, and really impressed by how he's performed. So yeah, really promising signs.
Yeah, I agree. I thought he looked very athletic, very powerful, and the more he plays, the better his positional play is going to get. His tactical nous is going to improve as well, isn't it? It's just sort of like it's just going to take a little bit of time before, but he looks very, very promising.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and it's just that added kind of competition for places that they've got in the team. They can drop players from the game. Team sheet each week, really, and constantly add new players in, and constantly different ideas. And I mean, the opponents must never know what's going to be against them. Really, each game. As fans, we don't know, do we? We don't know what fans, and obviously as journalists, just have no idea what team's going to pick. There's another 6 changes today, so an exciting time for Brighton. I think if they can tighten things up at the back, they can definitely the world's their oyster really this season. But yeah, definitely improvements needed in that area of the pitch.
Yeah. Adingra, he looked very good, didn't he? Very quick on the ball. As you mentioned, a lovely finish for his goal. And he looks a bit of a nightmare for defenders to deal with. Yeah,
no, it was a fantastic performance from Adingra today. He really was right from the off, was on the front foot, causing Liverpool all sorts of problems. His goal was so well taken after the mistake at the back. He just didn't even think twice, and he just slotted it into the goal when Alisson was completely off guard. So it was really, really well taken goal, and he could have had another one quickly after that as well. And he was just a constant thorn for Liverpool, really. And as I say, they were really lacking protection in front of the defence, really, in that midfield role, and he was exploiting that really, and was really causing Andy Robertson all sorts of problems.
Yeah,
and obviously he had that chance as well. sorry, he had that chance as well in the second half when he was 1-on-1, and Alisson made a superb save to deny him as well. So yeah, no, great performance from him.
Yeah, no, it was a good save. And was he your man of the match today?
He was, yeah. I'll say Edingar was my man of the match. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. And then now it's an international break now, Sam. How would you assess Brighton's sort of season so far and how they've done it? Obviously, it's been quite tricky. Europa League matches were coming thick and fast. They've had to deal with a couple of injuries as well. So how would you assess it overall?
Yeah, I think all things considered, it's been a great start to the season. I think it's the only negative, as I say, has been the defensive side of things. They've been conceding a lot of goals, yet to have a clean sheet, and that really is a thing to work on. But I think we're really seeing kind of how much of a toll I think that the playing on the Thursday to the Sunday, or having to play so many games in quick succession is obviously so new to this team, so new to so many players, and I think it's been a decent start. I think they can only improve as they get used to this kind of workload, and get used to the fact that obviously they're going to be making a lot of changes each week. I think it can only improve from here, and if they tighten things up at the back, I think they can have a really, really excellent season. But it just shows that kind of fighting spirit and the passion that they have, really. I think you saw it in Marseille when they went 2-0 down and they still managed to get a point out of it. And today, 1-0 up, dominating the game, 2-1 behind. You think that their heads might drop, might end up losing the game. They still managed to get the equalising goal again in the second half, and they could and probably should have won it as well. And João Pedro obviously had that chance at the end there as well.
Great chance,
great chance, and he deserved a goal. Really, he had such a good game, João Pedro. It was a real shame he couldn't cap it off with a goal, but yeah, no, I think Brighton can only improve from here, and it's exciting times, I think, for the season.
Yeah, I agree. I thought João Pedro was very good today. I put in the report, it is probably his best performance in a Brighton shirt so far, I think, for Pedro. And if he had just got that goal, it would have topped it off nicely. But obviously not to be. But Alexis McAllister, his return, what sort of reception did he get from the Brighton fans, sir?
Yeah, he got a lovely reception. I think when his name was read out at the start of the game, all the fans around me anyway were applauding. So I thought a warm welcome for him back to the Amex, which is nice to see. Obviously, there's been some hostile reactions to the Chelsea players that have left Brighton. So it was nice to see McAllister get a nice reception on his return. And obviously, De Zerbi at the end there put his arm around him and made sure the Brighton fans applauded him and gave him even more of a nice reception, which is great to see as well. And even after, I think, if I'm not mistaken, when De Zerbi came into the press conference, McAllister was just following behind him. So I think they'd just come out of a private chat, I think. And that's why De Zerbi was a little bit late in his press conference, I think. So yeah, that was nice to see. Nice to see him catching up with his old player, and he obviously appreciates him a great deal. And that's, as I say, really nice to see.
Yeah, it's good to see that the Brighton fans valued him as well, because he was such a key part of their team last season that got them to the Europa League. And sometimes you worry, don't you, that players come back and there can be a bit of a pantomime villain. But it was great that he got a good reception anyway.
It was, yeah. I mean, he didn't have the best of games, in all fairness. I think he did struggle, especially in that first half. As I say, a little bit out of position to what we were used to him seeing him play at Brighton. But yeah, no, a lot of fouls. I can't believe he wasn't booked. Especially for that one on Matoma in the second half. It was and very, very lucky that he wasn't booked, I think. But I think he definitely was helped when Gravenberch came on, and he had a little bit of protection behind him.
Yeah. There was one talking point one of the talking points in the first half. Pascal Gross. He sort of pulled the player down for the penalty. There was talk that perhaps it was he prevented a goal scoring opportunity. Do you think it was a red card? Lewis Dunk said no, it wasn't. I was covering him behind. But what was your view on that? So
it's a difficult one. It was from where I was. It was difficult to see what the penalty had been given for, and annoyingly the TV in front of me, or TV screen wasn't working. So I had to kind of lean over a colleague to see his screen to get a replay of it. And from what I could see, I don't think it was a red. To be honest, I think it was quite a harsh decision anyway, I think, for the penalty. You can see why it was given, but I think a red card would have been extremely harsh. And I think Lewis Dunk's right to say that it was never red, from what I could see anyway.
Yeah. And you were in the press conference afterwards. Did you speak to Joel Veltman? Did you say afterwards?
Yeah. So I was in the mix zone. The managers were out, and I managed to speak to Joel Veltman, and yeah, no, he was really pleased with the point in the circumstances, I think, and he said it's really taken an adjustment period to get used to playing on a Thursday and a Sunday, and having to play so many games is, as I say, is a bit of a learning curve for the players, and but I think he's pleased, and he can understand why his manager's making so many changes each week, and so yeah, there definitely was kind of a sense they felt a draw was a fair result. I think he did point out the Gravenberch miss in the second half. Sorry.
Could have been 3-1.
So he pointed out the Gravenberch. Yeah, so he points out the Gravenberch miss in the first half. Second half, when he was played in the back post and he thought he was destined to score, and he somehow managed to hit the crossbar. It was a kind of similar miss to João Pedro, really, where both of them should have been goals. So when you consider those two moments, I think a draw probably was a fair result when you look at the whole game.
Great stuff. Well, thank you, Sam. It's been an intense sort of period for Brighton lately with all the Europa League and then the Premier League games as well. So they'll be glad of probably the international break just to take stock and hopefully get a few players back. But yeah, lots to have a look at. Your player ratings are up online as well at the moment, plus all the reaction from today. And then we'll start looking ahead to Brighton's next tranche of games as well. But that's all on the Sussex World website. So thanks as always for your report, Sam, and we'll see you next time.